Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, you may be thinking, why the hell have you got like one side of your face full glam and the other side dead? Basically, I went and watched the Joker film last night. Can I just say, oh my god, it was so good. Like, I left feeling so inspired. So I have woken up, I'm literally still in my pajamas, and I'm going to recreate the Joker makeup on this side of my face. So I wanted it to be like still glam and wearable, because I know if you're anything like me, I don't like to be scary on Halloween. Like, I like to be a little bit glam, so I thought what better way to do like half a face and half a face. So I'm going to do like the Joker makeup when it's like neat and all like he's like just done it, and then I'm going to do it where at the end of the film it looks a bit more bloody. I don't want to spoil it. I mean, that's not really spoiling it, but he like smears some blood along his face. So I'm going to do it like that, and it's all like, I don't want to give anything away. I don't want to be a spoiler, but anyway, that's what I'm going to be doing. So I'm going to try and make it as easy as possible. I have not practiced this. I literally watched the film last night and I thought I am going to do that. So I'm going to try and make it as easy as possible. If it goes wrong, then I mean, let's hope it doesn't, but if it does, then we'll just have to film again. Okay, so for this look, obviously you can do whatever glam side you want. I was going to do like a blue eye to match the blue on this side, but then I thought not everyone wants to wear a blue eye, so I just did something like really glam, really neutral. And everything that you will need for this look is face paints. So I've got the, I think these are Snazaroo face paints. I've got a white one, I've got a red one, and then I'm just going to be using the blue shade here from my EYN Brights palette from Beauty Bay. So there's not too much that you need. I guess you could use red eyeshadow maybe for if you didn't want to like go for red face paint. Don't know how that would work, but you may be able to do it. And I've also got like a sponge. This is actually, I washed this yesterday. It's just stained from last Halloween. So what I'm going to do is start by putting the white all over my face. I'm going to do it like a little bit mismatchy, because he doesn't actually ever get the white like completely perfect. He does, however, take it over his eyebrows. So I'm obviously going to be covering up all of that. So I'm just going to wet my sponge. And you could even use a brush for this. I might actually use that. This is just a Zoeva face brush, but I don't think I ever use that. So I'm just going to go into that white paint. There is actually a scene in this where he does this. Like, he literally paints it on. Over. So if you have seen the film, what did you think of it? Because I was so impressed, and some people were coming out of there saying that it was really bad, and I was literally like listening to them like, you joking? Did you just see what happened? Like, was you watching the same thing as me? I thought it was really good. Right, so I'm gonna just, so I'm doing it like quite rough, because he doesn't have like it's not like neat when he's doing it. Get that right over my eye. I feel like I could have probably done my eyebrow better, like stuck that down better. And now I'm actually going to take the drier side of my sponge and just like actually wet works better for this because it's dried quite quickly. Okay, so I'm now going to draw on the nose, and I'm going to use the red face paint for this, and I'm just going to take a really small, like fine, like really fine paintbrush, and I'm just going to go into that red face paint. And he kind of just has covered like his whole tip of his nose, so it's like almost round. Typically I've chosen the side with my nose ring. His nose stays like quite neat, but just because this is like a half and half look, I am gonna like try and just blend that a little bit. Okay, and then for his eyebrow, he actually draws it like up here on his head, and it's like a really like sluggy looking brow. So again, I'm going to use the red face paint for this. And then just fill that in, and be careful to try and stay like within the outline you just drew. I'm gonna grab a closer mirror and just make sure that I can like really... Okay, so I'm just in the process of just like redoing that brow. So I've just been going over it with white face paint, so that is possible. So if you do muck up a little bit or you want to try and do it better, you can just like almost like carve it out with the white face paint, and it actually covers it quite good. I just need to go over that, but I just need to wait for it to dry. So I'm going to be doing the eye now, which is using the blue eyeshadow. I think if I had had a blue face paint, this would work so much better. I actually don't have one, and I clearly need to invest in one. So what I'm going to be doing is taking that small paintbrush again and just painting on the blue triangle that almost comes like out like this on the eyebrow, and then like covers the brow. So I'm just going to mark out a rough shape for it first. So if you are going to be using a face paint for this, it will probably be so much easier, but I wasn't prepared, but I was inspired yesterday and I thought I'm filming that. So I've just wet my brush a little bit and I've gone into the blue shadow, and I'm literally sticking to like a tiny corner in the shadow so it doesn't get ruined. And I'm just going to take this all the way through the brow. Just going to take a big fluffy brush and just push that eyeshadow into the shape that I've just created. Just going to make sure that that is nice and white for when I go in with the under eye. I'm now going to do the exact same for the under eye, but this time I'm going to bring it down a lot further. So I'm just going to mark out where I want it. Which is kind of like that, if you can just see that really faintly. And I'm just going to start to fill that in. So this look is pretty simple because I feel like even the Joker in the film doesn't have it like perfect. Okay, so I'm going to let that dry, and then I'm going to go back over it and just make the colour more intense. Okay, so I'm now going to move on to the mouth, and I feel like this is going to be the like hardest bit. I feel like everything else has been pretty easy so far, like quite straightforward. I don't know whether to go under. Like he goes really under. Maybe I just will. Right, so I'm going to use again my paintbrush, and I'm going to go into the red paint. And he takes the smile up pretty high. So and then he just like completely fills it in, so he does make it like absolutely massive. So I'm hoping that I've made that big enough. Okay, so now I'm just going to go ahead and fill that in with the red face paint. And again, I'm just going to like buff that bit so it is a little bit like faded. Could have used a bigger paintbrush, but I actually don't have one. Just work with what we've got on this channel. We just work with what we've got. No blue face paint, no worries, we'll use an eyeshadow. No paintbrushes, no worries, we'll use this tiny one to cover everything. Okay, I'm going to use the other side of my sponge and just dab over that. Right, I'm going to let that dry, and I'll come back, and I feel like I need something else. Do you know what I mean? We'll draw some like wrinkles on, so be right back. Okay, so just to finish off this, I'm going to take this like really light brown shade from my shadow palette. You can use any brown shade, and I'm just going to draw on like his wrinkles almost. So he has like a really distinct like nasal lines there. And like here. But you don't want it too much, but... And then obviously on the forehead. This is quite dark, so we can add some into our eye socket. And then also he does have quite a distinct cheekbone. So I'm just going to take a really like old angled brush, and I'm actually going to take that shadow colour and almost just like tap it. This is basically the finished look. So you're half glam and then half the Joker. I am gonna do a switch up, so at the end of the film obviously he doesn't look all neat, he's all bloody, and I'm gonna now change it to look like that. So I'm just gonna take some pictures of this and then I will be back. Okay, so now that everything's dried, I'm gonna go in and add on the more like scary, gory, disturbed almost version. So what we're going to do is I'm going to mix up a bit of water into some of my blue eyeshadow. So literally I've like just mixed it on a little dish and made the blue like really watery, and what I'm going to do is try and get that to trickle down my face, if that makes sense. Again, this would have worked so much better if it was face paint, but we work with what we've got. I'm just gonna shake my head around. Try and get that to like trickle. And again with the brow, it doesn't need to like trickle necessarily, but just like get... Okay, we don't want it going onto the mouth. That's enough trickling now. Just want it to look like less neat. So you can just maybe do some like flicks out from it. You'd always get a brush with some blue eyeshadow on and just like smudge it. And again with the eyebrows, we're gonna like flick those a little bit. So going into the red face paint, just kind of like smear them a little bit, and then you can go in with a brush that's got face paint on it. Kind of smear that around. So again with the mouth, we want to make that nice and, oh, not like that. We want to make it like smeared. So I'm going to go in with the red face paint and just really lightly like smear that. Just like buff over it and make it not neat anymore. Again, you can just go over the nose as well, just with that same brush that you had the red on. My god, look at the state of me. So finally we're going to go in with the blood. Now I'm just going to use the Meron blood. I love this blood. And what he does is, in the film he's got like blood in his mouth and he kind of like smears it. I'm obviously not going to be doing that, but I might put it on my fingers, or maybe I'll just put it on the brush actually and just like... So I'm just going to take my brush and I'm actually just going to dip it straight in just to save like some mess. And just start to like slowly dab that on. Now this option's obviously like, it's up to you whether you want to do this. You could just do the other version, but when I was watching the film I like really wanted to do both. And that, girls and boys, is the finished look. So we started, so we've obviously got our glam side looking good on Halloween, and then that's going in my mouth. Ugh. Looks quite cool, no? For a first attempt, I'm pretty impressed. And I didn't have blue face paint, so I'm actually very impressed with that. It just shows you that you don't always need everything, you can make it work. Anyway guys, this is the end of the tutorial. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you have seen the film, let me know your thoughts on that, because I personally loved it. I thought it was so good. I actually would go and see it again. I don't know, I really enjoyed it. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this makeup look. If you did, then please don't forget to give it a massive thumbs up, because that really helps me out, and don't forget to subscribe. If you do recreate this, then please give me a tag over on Instagram, because I would love to see your work. I absolutely love it when people recreate my looks and tag me. Honestly, it means so much to know that I've inspired you to actually go and do it. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed, and have a good week, a good Halloween if you're watching this nearer to Halloween, and I'll see you all very soon for another video. Bye!